It's that time once again, folks. It is Friday, Classic Tabletop RPG Friday, that is, and that means we're getting ready to get back into some Classic Traveler in our series, which is, I think we're on video number 19 right now. We're chugging right along. Now, if you're just coming in the middle of this and going, whoa, 19 videos, hey, don't worry now. Got a playlist, you can go over there and you can just kind of check out whatever videos that you want to check out, you know. And you don't have to check out all of them. You can just, you know, check out this one here and that one there. Even though it'd be kind of cool if you did check out all of them, nah, man. But, you know, it's all on you, so you can do some catching up if you've missed that. Now, if during this series or during watching this video or wherever you're at, you say, you know, I think I might want to get up on this. You can do that in two ways. You can go and get the free PDF copy. It's a facsimile copy over at Drive-Thru RPG. You can download that for free, and the link for that is down in the description. Also, on top of that, maybe you just want to go ahead, take the plunge. You got the Skrilla, and you're like, let's buy some Traveler. Then links for that is also down in the description below. Not only for Classic Traveler, but for all the various editions of Traveler that have come out over the years, up into the current Traveler of Mongoose. Now, this might be your first time coming through here, and if it is, then let me introduce myself real quick. My name's Servant Shiloh. The place that you've stopped at is RPG Elite. It's the place where I focus on putting the RP back into RPG. So we're gonna move right into this. We're gonna be talking about Starship encounters, how to generate them, when to use them, give you some examples and some tips along the way. And then on top of that, on the other side, of course, I've got the question of the vid, which I always have. Let's go ahead, let's do this like Brutus, because you always knew this, and roll 'em. Starship encounters are a way to make your Traveler campaign or one-shot more organic. It's a method of adding those random elements you would expect to find in a spacefaring culture. There are three main instances Starship encounters would occur: coming out of a jump, going into a jump, or during interplanetary travel. Now, there are other instances it can happen, or other instances where you can make it happen, but these three would be the most common and the most natural place where they would occur. You can roll for encounters ahead of time, crafting about 5 at a time, and then choosing the best at the opportune moment in the session to spice things up. After the session is over, replace that encounter with another for future use. In this way, you will always have enough encounters on tap and just ready to go. There's also the old school way of rolling on the fly. However, this may slow things down a bit, especially if you're new to playing Traveler. If you just use the general encounter, however, it can be pretty fast, and then you can let the specifics unfold if the PCs decide to take the encounter further. Now, you may be tempted to think that Starship encounters are just the purview of the referee, but that does not have to be the case. You can involve the players if, for example, their ship's sensors are always on all the time. And then you can have them roll for the possibility of an encounter. This would be the pilot or navigator, who you could individually feed the information, and then they can relay the details to the crew through role-playing. All right, so let's just put this all together and see how all this works. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my Starship encounters here. Put this over, and this is the Starship encounters table. Now, of course, you're going to be rolling them 2d6 as always, but you got a couple die modifiers down here, +2 if a naval base is in the system, +1 if a scout base is in the system, and this is dependent on the starport type where your ship is traveling. So let's go to a subsector here, and we're going to pick one. All right. And we're going to pick a place where we roll for an encounter. Make that a little bit bigger. And I'm going to go down here. We're going to go to Elcana over here. So this is Elcana. has a starport B, gas giant, and a scout base. So we go back to our Starship Encounters table here. We're going to see that we're going to roll over here on B, and we'll have a +1 for a scout base. I'll just go ahead and roll 2d6, and I'm going to add a +1, and then we will roll and see what we get. A 3, which means with a dash right there, there would be no encounter. And so you just move on and just, jump them to wherever their destination was. That's how simple it is to use the Starship Encounter table. You can create additional details for Starship Encounters to add variety, which you can put in separate tables. Now, it's easy to do in something like Foundry here or any other VTT by creating rollable tables. The information for each encounter doesn't need to be all that involved unless you want it to be. So let's go back here and let's do another one. We're going to use Elkanah again. So we know that Elkanah is a starport B. So let's pull this up again as far as the table goes. All right. And that it's going to be a +1. So we're going to do this again. Push the up arrow for the +1. This time we're going to roll. This time it's a 10. All right, so a 10 is an M. What exactly does that mean? So this is where you have to go to the other table for Starship Encounters, which is the actual type of ship that it is. So if you go over here, I'm going to do the Starship types here. So if we're looking at M, we see it's a 600-ton subsidized liner. We're going to get to that in a second because we're still going to use that, but I'm going to put these side by side here so I want you guys to see something. So you have starships here. You also have standard small craft down here. These with an asterisk next to it also have a starcraft, and then you have to roll a die over here if that's the case. So if, for example, I would have rolled a C with an asterisk over here, then I would have rolled again a 6-sided die, and +1 if there's a naval base in the system, -1 if it's a scout base. That's how you can get to 0 there. And then I would just roll one 6-sided die and see what kind of small craft. But we don't have that. We only have one. We have this 600-ton subsidized liner. Now, when it comes to those extra details I was talking about, I'll give you an example. I went ahead and made a rollable table. Actually, I made a couple rollable tables, 3 to be exact. So I know that this is a subsidized liner, all right? So a subsidized liner needs a crew. And we need to know how many crew, how many passengers. So I'm going to roll to see how much with the crew. All right, so it looks like here it's a full crew and half passengers. So how many passengers are on a subsidized liner? Don't know until we go and look at passengers for ships. And I'm going to pull up the subsidized liner here. And we're going to see how much you can carry. The staterooms here. Whoa. The stateroom here is 30, but you got to take away the crew on that. So it looks like there are 5 on the crew. So there's a total of 25, which means it's about 12 people. So there's 12 passengers on board with a full crew. So a full crew of 5. So that's what I'm looking at. I would note that down on the side, and then I would go to my next rollable table, which would be the disposition. So I want to know when they encounter this crew and everybody, if they decide to actually contact them, what will be their disposition? So let's go ahead and roll for that as well. Looks like they're going to be friendly, cordial, and with communication. So that's good, right? So you write that down on the side and be like, okay, that's their disposition. Now we have one more, and that one more is going to be the Starship Encounter motivation. What is motivating? Why are they out here? So let's go ahead and give that a roll. Just traveling. They're just traveling. That's it. You know, maybe they're just taking these passengers on a travel to look at a planet or something. I mean, you can make that up as you go, but you can put the specific details in there and make it up either on the fly, like I said, or make it up ahead of time and write down just small details. And again, this doesn't have to be all that involved. As you can see, it can be just really quick at all three of them, and then you can, you know, flesh it out a little bit and then just let it develop from there through role play. So let me reiterate that those rollable tables are custom. Those are things that I created, because the only tables that you actually have in the classic game are the general one, which tells you the starport and what type of ship that you might encounter, and also the particular ship you will encounter if you happen to roll. And that's it. You have to fill in the details after that. I just like a little bit more detail so I can flow a little bit better. Know what I mean? If you got any value out of this video, folks, learned something new today, then could you do me a solid? Could you just crush the like button right now? Boop, boop. And also, hey, if you want to stick around, God willing, I come out with videos every Tuesday and Friday. So if you want to stick around, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Let's get to the question of the vid. Now, I'll give you 3 ways that you can go ahead and implement these Starship encounters. Now, you can pre-roll them, right? And pre-generate them and then have about 5 or 6 of them and then just kind of flow with it like that. You can go old school, just kind of do it on the fly, or you can kind of do that hybrid thing where, you know, you involve the players in it. Which one do you like? Which one would you be more comfortable running? Or even, how do you run your, I mean, if you're running them, then how do you do your Starship encounters? Let me know. Let's get some engagement going down in the comments below. And that, folks, will do it for me. That's my cue. That means that a brother has just got to do his snuggle puss.
So exit, stage left.
You guys got a game this weekend. Happy gaming. I pray it is an RPG Elite session. Until next time, folks, peace. 5,000 elites. Yep, I'm outie.